Thank you, Matteo, for doing this. We're very, very excited to have you. It's all the more special because last year, around the same time, your TikTok reel went viral and it was about
Hmm.
Caimera. I remember that this very image was in that reel with this very sweater.
True,
And
true.
I remember a surge of traffic to our website, a surge of users, and it's what every tech product hopes for, genuine love for the product. And so we've had such a long, beautiful relationship with you. I'm only happy that
Are you
we're able
sending
to
something
share
back?
this platform. And so it's only fitting that we do this session with you and share with everyone what you do.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here, Kirti. And this does feel like a full circle moment for sure. So thank you for having me on. Um, as much as the title suggests how to make dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, maybe that's too many dollar signs. I think the importance here is very much about how to create value with something that you love to do. And a few years ago, I started to play around with Midjourney, with Caimera, and with AI in general. And I genuinely thought there could be an intersection between passion and profit. And so I decided to start an AI creative agency, which today can be a creative agency that is also powered by AI in some sectors. We would like to also do a lot of other uh, in other domains. But I think the important part again here is how to monetize a passion or skill and interests so that you can do what you love to do every single day. People call it ikigai, people call it purpose, calling, whatever you want. And so I think it's important to find that intersection. If you can go to the next slide. Yeah, thanks. About
And
myself, I'm the
yeah, I'd like to
sorry.
add a little bit about you.
Yeah, yeah, please. I mean, I am the founder of and creative director of Agora. The studio was built because I found that intersection of technology and creativity. And I thought that a lot of brands could leverage this technology for their creative purposes. And so this is why I thought, why not give the opportunity to brands that might have great ideas from a creative standpoint, but smaller budgets than others. And AI is able to facilitate that. And Chimera is definitely part of the process.
I'd add here
So
that Agora was one of the first few agencies in the AI space.
yeah, I think so. I think so. There was a big one called Maison Meta, which I always mention, and I don't think there were many others back then. So why not be a pioneer of the space like Chimera is? I wanna go a little bit into the process and some positioning and pricing. I think it's important. This presentation, I think it's going to be so valuable if we can have a conversation after, ask questions, connect on this topic. But I think it's important to kind of break down how the process works and how Agora positions itself in this market. So essentially, it starts with a kind of a brief and discovery. The client comes to us with a brief. They want to create a campaign, a photo shoot. They have a vision in mind, and it's our goal to then translate that into a creative direction. Obviously, a creative direction has to be pitched to them before we go into creating the campaign itself, scaling that campaign. And so we usually pitch two or three, usually three creative directions to the client that would essentially encapsulate what their vision was. And if you can go to the next slide, Jolene, because this is fairly clear. Here's an example, and there's two more that follow. The first part on the left is the client brief. They came to us with these few images, which are fairly clear. And in our case, we understood that they wanted, studio photography, minimalistic, these floors in that style. And so, and this was their product. And so they came to us and we kind of pitched a few creative direction, like the one in the middle, which they accepted. And then once that creative direction, and only once that creative direction is approved, we go into the product integration and the scaling of that campaign. What I mean by scaling, I mean different poses, different models, looks, products, and so on. This was one example. There's another one on the next slide, if you can go.
This is so good. Like none of those
These
images
were these
look AI at all, right?
Yeah, the final asset's obviously the one on the right. This is a recent campaign we did for a denim brand. They came to us with this brief on the left. So it was, this kind of studio denim features on the background. They had these products. We pitched a few creative direction. The one in the middle is the one they selected, which was kind of a art gallery sort of approach with these beautiful denim curtains. And once they approve that creative direction, then we go on and adding the models that they maybe selected, because maybe there's also a casting to do before, and the product integration, as well as the poses, whatever, if they're laid down or if they're standing on the back, whichever sort of assets they want to show of the product. There's also a last one, last example.
I wanted
The next
actually
slide,
to
please.
ask you a few questions on this one.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
I think that it's good that you're going from client brief to creative direction and then final assets. I think
Yeah.
everyone in AI jumps the middle one. They go directly from client brief and using those as reference images to get final assets. And then you know what happens. There has been a recent fiasco,
Disaster.
yeah, with a brand because they literally copied that image as it is without giving any kind of contribution and creative direction. While it helps you go away from the reference image, I think it also helps you add so much more value as an agency, because otherwise they could just go to any tool and use that as a reference image.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually want to touch on this maybe later or now, but that middle part is so important because, like you said, Kirti, you cannot copy those images. That would be copyright infringement. You want to take inspiration. So the goal here for us, the creative agencies, is to translate that initial brief into a creative direction that you can then scale. But that first step is very important because you need to be able to translate the realistic brief into an AI creative direction, which we will then scale. And if you miss that part and go straight into integrating the products, then you're screwed because if they don't like that part, you have created an entire campaign with a creative direction that doesn't align with the client's brief. So yeah, disaster. This was a fantastic campaign for a fashion brand. They wanted to create a photo shoot in the Nevada desert. And we created this concept, with a luxury imaginary house with models running, doing Pilates, yoga, having a coffee, stretching. And that really encapsulated what they had in mind. And then once that creative direction is approved, we move on to the product integration, to the scene generation they wanted to run, and so on.
So we have a good question
Um,
here because I'd say, what if the client says that no, that creative direction is not like our images that we sent you as the brief. We want it
mhm.
exactly like that. So what do you do? How many options do you provide?
So we usually provide 2 to 4 creative directions, 2 to 4 creative direction. And most of the times, the brand comes back to us saying, this creative direction is actually better than the brief we suggested. So that is a very exciting moment for us that we created something that was even better than they had imagined. And I think that is our role as an agency to say, okay, you guys might be great at what you do. Maybe you're lacking that element of taste. We can bring that to the table as well. And when we go into the pricing and positioning, I think that's a focus point for us. But let's say 3 to 4 creative directions so that they have enough to choose from.
Fantastic.
And that sorry, just to underline this, when I mean creative direction, I don't just mean, there's a few things that go in a creative direction. If you can just go back, Berlin, please. Um, these lines here, let's say in the creative direction box, there's 3 rows. Okay. The first one was, let's say, the house, the environment where everything was going to happen. The second layer is more the atmosphere, maybe what the lighting look like, what the activities are going to be. They're sitting down, having a coffee, stretching, running. And then the third one could be the elements that are going to be into it. The mats, the coffee, the tables, the sitting area. So there's layers to what the creative direction pitch is. And I think that pitch, that deck is very important.
I mean, I've just learned, we haven't even gone past a few slides and I've learned so much.
That's great. And you know a lot already, so I'm sure people can benefit from this. The tool stack. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. Caimera has everything you need. Simple as that, to be honest. There is a layer of um, creative exploration and concept development that you can add with Midjourney. I think that Midjourney is an incredible tool, extremely artistic, has great features to explore mood boards and creative directions. And so if you're a little bit more advanced and want to explore things that maybe Caimera doesn't have in their template section, you can go for it. But if you're just getting started, Caimera has the templates. You can create the scenes after, you can product integrate. So it has everything you need. And the last layer, which I think is extremely important, and weirdly enough, retouchers are going to be even more important today. We all know AI struggles to get you to that 100%. Even when I'm on Caimera, you might get to 90, 99%, and then you just want that final adjustment when needed. And that's where Caimera also offers that feature of retouching, and that helps extremely. If you have retoucher yourself in-house, that's fine. You can do it straight away on Photoshop. But if not, everything is centralized in Caimera. So this is our tool stack. Midjourney for creative exploration, or Caimera's template. Caimera for photo shoot, product integration, and scaling the campaign into different poses, different models. And then that final retouching layers that takes your product from 90% to 100%, because the brands, when they see their product that doesn't look right, they will tell you, and they won't stop telling you. So just know you're going to have to get it to as close as possible. I think a lot of agencies struggle with this. Agencies, freelancers, people that are kind of offering this service, which is the positioning and pricing. And I think it's more straightforward there than we make it seem. And it's very important to be very clear on what you are selling, aka the deliverables. In our case, is a lot of product photography, creative campaigns, photo shoots for their launches, and so we're very clear on what we are selling. But most importantly, what you are solving is the most important part to communicate. You are saving these brands an incredible amount of time, extreme amount of money and resources and efforts. And like I said at the beginning, you are also allowing these brands with limited budgets to create those campaigns that, again, they could only dream of. I always tell brands, I'm sure you have so many saved pins on Pinterest or saved posts on Instagram, and you were just never able to create those campaigns. You were always like, oh my god, I wish I could do this, I wish I could travel there and shoot. And yes, maybe one day you will with your own funds, and that would be great, even better. But for now, if you want to communicate your product in an aesthetically pleasing way, AI can help you do that. And so that is what you should communicate to your leads on the call. And also, another important thing, like I said at the beginning, is the creative direction. You can go and create 100,000 images today by just clicking a button on Caimera nonstop. But if the creative direction doesn't look good, you are scaling slop. And we all know, in an era, where content is unlimited, taste become that most valuable asset. And we are flooded by slop, AI and not AI, by the way. There's also slop that's not AI. And so you want to make sure that you pitch your taste, you pitch your creative direction, your knowledge of what is trendy, what's cool. That is very important. End-to-end execution, I wrote that because you are doing everything from them, from creative exploration, creative direction. You are essentially casting models, creating an entire world for them, and adding their product onto these campaigns and photo shooting the whole thing. I think it's a massive offer that we are able to charge 3 to 20,000 for. But if you're competing with agencies that used to charge hundreds of thousands for a photo shoot, for a campaign, all of a sudden 20,000 doesn't become that much for them. And obviously, there's always going to be the smaller brands, and that's why you can adapt to a more accessible price. But respect your pricing, respect your taste, understand what you're offering, and your professionalism in the process. That is a very important point. I want to touch about something, but maybe we can do it later, which I think is at the moment um, we are charging by images, right? And it's very hard, and it has been very hard for me and my agency to step away uh, from charging per image. But I think we're entering an era, a time where you can now prioritize creative direction, because tools like Caimera allow you today to scale that creative direction, or to scale an image and to multiply that image in hundreds of variations. But like I said before, if that core image is bad, you're scaling slop. So we are getting to a point where I could literally sell my creative direction to the brand and saying, this is my creative direction. Here are, let's say, 5 to 6 winning images. And then you can go ahead and scale that. Okay. That I think is an even more interesting service, which can be called creative direction as a service. I like it. Why not? Why not? But maybe we can talk about it later if somebody is interested in diving into that. I feel like I'm just rambling about myself, but if anybody wants to jump in.
I think we had a quick question. Do you work with small brands or large brands?
Both. Both. I've worked with small brands and large brands, and there's pros and cons to both. But as much as there is a lot of opportunity, of course, working with large brands, weirdly enough, and of course, bigger dollar signs, like the presentation suggests, weirdly enough, I've always been more attracted to helping more boutique brands that don't have that budget. And so this is why I think also that approach of creative direction as a service can be a game changer, because it's more accessible for us to offer creative direction and then for you to scale it. So both is the answer. Marketing and content. In my experience, content for me has been the most scalable way and the most impactful way to reach brands. Nearly 100% of our clients come from content, which is unreal. Barely any ads, very little marketing campaigns in terms of outbound. So if you're an agency and you're offering a creative service, please showcase your work. Show brands what you can do. Your content is your storefront. By the time the brand reaches out to you, they are already sold. They saw they see what you can do. They understand the value proposition. They understand that you have taste, and so they say, "Great, this person does what I want. He has taste. Can he please do it for me?" So they just reach out, and so rather than explaining what it is possible, you just show them. For creative businesses, content acts as both marketing and proof of execution. And so I think it's super important to have obviously a company account and maybe even a personal brand that has built extreme trust for me. When brands jump on the call, they see me, it's a familiar face. They see me on videos, and it's easier for them to say, okay, I trust this person. He's been giving me free value for the past weeks. I might trust him more than a random person that hits me up on my inbox. So yeah, for creative businesses and many other businesses, create content, showcase your expertise, showcase your expertise.
And almost every piece of content you post is extremely tasteful. It's marketing oriented. It is on a theme for fashion marketing or retail marketing. I think often when AI is in front of us, we feel like creating a lot of abstract things out of it, but really posting exactly what you want to sell in the future.
100%. 100%. Winning and retaining clients. So I think, like I said, obviously, if you have a content or a brand account, it's easier to win them because you've built trust. But if you're an agency, if you're freelancer, if you're just getting started, it's important to show professionalism, show them what you can do, really understand their objectives. Don't just try to sell. Can we even help you? Can we even help you? If we are in a place where we think we can help you, then why not work together? Um, you know, you have problems, we can solve them. You like how we solve your problems. There is no need for not working together. And I say, remember, they need you. They came because they need you. And so when you're entering that phase, just understand that you have something they need. And so if you are a professional and if you actually can deliver on that, deliver quality work, they should trust you. They should trust you. But you have to deliver quality work. I have I've seen so many other agencies and freelancers that might be very good at selling because they're good at persuasion, and then they deliver terrible work, churn clients nonstop, and that's just not a sustainable business model. And retaining clients should be easy if they keep needing what you have, and you've done a good job. So yeah, I think focus on the value of what you're offering, not necessarily on the price. They are probably already paying for it. Why not pay for somebody that can do it better than whoever's doing it for them at that moment?